Sorry. I used to spend a lot of time in the basements of New York dive bars doing open mic stand-up comedy to a very small, disinterested crowd. So to be now on ground level in front of a much larger, crucially interested crowd and in a room with clearly marked emergency exits is a real thrill. Trying to work out what I was going to say today, I did a bit of research, I'm not prone to that, and looked at what other similar talks have done in the past and came up with the following, oh sorry, that's me doing some stand-up. Came up with the following results. So, think I've almost got most of those. Certainly started with the biographical icebreaker. From that point, talks usually head in a certain direction. So to kind of demonstrate that, decided to draw a chart, or a graph rather. So that's my biographical icebreaker, sorry. So I put together a chart. And along the bottom, we've got time in all its infinite glory, and then audience interest. The drawing at the start, we were quite into. There was that dip where I forgot a slide and then pretended to correct myself. And then we've come back with the graph, which means it's time for an introduction. My name is Chaz Hutton, and I draw cartoons. I apologise. My name is Chaz Hutton. I do draw cartoons, and this is a presentation screen. And this screen and I are going to teach you that everybody can draw. Now, when you create a character, personally, I think the easiest way to do that, the best way to really get that ball rolling, is a pair of eyes. And you can start to see something emerging here. Now, later on, we're going to want to have our character talking. So we're going to need a mouth. And that's all there is to it. No, there's plenty more. Ideally, you kind of want your character engaged with you. So that's a lot better. Hello, presentation screen. From there's a lot of things we can do with very, very simple moves. My favourite one is the clever application of eyebrows. So a happy little screen can suddenly become quite menacing with the addition of just two simple lines. Now, this is a cheap trick, but it's something that I think we've learnt through millions of years of evolution, where our ancestors, millennia ago, when they saw this kind of face, they knew to either run away or to at least apologise. And so, using that vastness of evolution of bad days for other people, we can utilise that to make great drawings, or at least very simple emotional drawings. So, if we bring back our lovely screen, who's going to help walk us through this. Sorry, we'll bring back Jeff. I think it's important that every character should have a name. In this case, Jeff is our screen. So we can go different eyebrows this time. We go, now Jeff looks interested. Wonderful. Or we can change Jeff's mouth. And now Jeff looks surprised. And personally, this is my favourite. If we move those lines below Jeff's eyes, Jeff now looks like he's aged 35 years and is struggling to get out of bed in the morning. We can also no, we can't, sorry. We can also stab Jeff in the head. Ah, that reaction is really interesting because not that long ago, Jeff was a series of lines on a screen that you didn't know. And yet in the last few minutes, you've started to build up this connection with Jeff and are now horrified to see that I've gone and stabbed him in the head. The beautiful thing about drawing comics is anything is possible. So we can bring Jeff back. No worries, Jeff. And I guess at this stage, what you're probably wondering is, Chaz, I'm pretty sure we learnt this basic stuff in primary school. Drawing faces, drawing eyebrows, angry, sad, the whole thing. And you'd be absolutely right. And that's the point here. As children, we loved to draw. And as adults, we love children to draw, if only to afford us a little bit of time to ourselves. And the thing is, the wonderful thing is, drawing with a child, all bets are suddenly off. Your drawing skill, compared to a child, is quite good. And so you have no kind of self-conscious about what you're drawing. Is it a dolphin? Is it an aeroplane? It's both. It's fine. And somewhere along the way, you realize that we built up this idea of what is good, what, like the standard, I guess, of adults making art. Imagine if we applied that standard, that perceived standard, to children's art. Now, we don't, obviously, it's ridiculous. And this is the beautiful thing about this, is that there's no such thing as bad art. If you are drawing, it's art. It's all subjective. What I like, you might not like. What you like, I might not like. What that means is there's no right or wrong answers. And so really, anything you put down on paper is valid and counts. And is not only that, is good. As a case in point, I put a request out on Instagram and with the view of getting everybody to draw me a simple bicycle. Now, as a cycling fan and a history nerd, I can tell you the general design of the bicycle hasn't changed in about 140 years. And yet, this is the collection of bikes I got back. First of all, not one of these bikes is safe if it was made. This is a series of death traps. I also like how somebody drew theirs on a picture of the beach, which is showing off, I thought. But they are all undeniably bikes. If I gave one of these pictures to a complete stranger and I said, "What is this?" they would tell me it's a bicycle. And so, essentially, they've all captured the essence of a bicycle. And that's all you really need to do. And we've been doing this form of communication for forever, really, right from the start. And then we kept going. This kind of communication was a sort of a precursor to language, but yet is still such a strong way of communicating. So, with everything we know so far, let's make a comic. To do this, I'd like to bring Jeff back. But this time, Jeff needs a physical form. And in the interest of making this as simple as possible, because we're all just going at a child level of intensity here, let's just make Jeff a blob. And as I discussed before, all you really need now is some eyes and a mouth, and you've got yourself a character. Jeff the Blob. This is a great place to start. Now, from here, Jeff can say things. For instance, Jeff could just say Jeff is the Blob. Let's keep it nice and simple. Or if we wanted to make things a bit more exciting, Jeff the Blob. This is also good for a price down sticker at a supermarket, I've found. Or the classic one we all learnt at school, if Jeff is thinking, it's the classic thought bubble. Or if you'd like to submit something to the New Yorker, I'd suggest the very classy writing down the bottom. That's their style. Now, from here, I'd love to be able to spend an hour or two working out a wonderful story, about Jeff the Blob and taking the time to draw all that and work it out. And you guys should do that. But with the time we've got, we're going to work with what we've got. First up, we have Jeff the Blob. And then we have Jeff saying he's Jeff the Blob, thinking he's Jeff the Blob, and saying he's Jeff the Blob. Not a thrilling story, I'll admit. But with the simple application of eyebrows, we can turn this around a bit. We now have the story of Jeff the Blob, who, unsure of himself, has said he's Jeff the Blob, and then has had a private moment of positive thinking and self-reinforcement, and come back to let everybody know that he is Jeff the Blob. And so with this millennia of eyebrow knowledge that you now have, and the fact that you now know that nobody can draw a bike, which means you can all draw a bike and therefore draw anything, Jeff and I would like to wish you happy drawing. Thank you.